fuck yeah. Calling again to save the motherfucking day, yeah, America. Fuck yeah. Freedom is the only way, yeah. Terrorists, your game is through. 'Cause you have to answer to America. Fuck yeah. So lick my butt and suck on my balls, America. Fuck yeah. What you gonna do when we come for you now? It's a dream we all share. It's the hope for tomorrow. Fuck yeah. We're back for part 2 of Team America. No, not Team America, but the rifle platoon. I did a bit of research. I finally uh, get uh, what is it? Let me zoom in. Privacy settings applied. No, off to a great start. There we go. Finally get how to read this. Finally understood it. And it's the 5 reversed to the middle. So it is 95, because it's the middle of 90. Then it is 51. Wait, I'm doing that wrong. No, it is 95. Anyway, it's 5 because it's in the middle. Read, right, then up. Wait, I'm still not getting it. Anyway, 95 because it's in the middle, otherwise it would be 91, which would be here. So it's in the middle of here. And 51.5 because it's in the middle between these. 5 is half. That was it. Where we last left off, we didn't make any decisions yet. But, well, no. Yes, I looked up the team, so here we go. We were at the part where we're looking at some of the glossary. So, where were we? Decision chart, no. Yes, we are looking at the weapons. So, what do we have? Light infantry weapons. To succeed in combat, infantrymen must be experts in employing their organic and supporting weapons, and in employing mines. Okay. Organic weapons it's not biopunk. Would be cool though. Are weapons that are assigned to the platoon over which the platoon leader has direct control. So it's not Call of Duty calling in an airstrike, you know. These are the tools people have on hand. So I'm looking around. I'll grab some drink. Because I'm thirsty. Drinking my filtered water. It's not American, it's Japanese water. But the Americans and the Japanese are close, right? They're practically friends. There we go. Supporting weapons provide the platoon and squad leader additional firepower and are found outside the platoon. So this is your Call of Duty. If you got a kill streak, you know, that's where you can call in drones, shit like that, supporting weapons. Okay. Organic weapons. Infantry platoons carry a variety of organic weapons. The most critical of these are the M60 machine gun, the squad automatic weapon, the saw. Okay, so a gun and a gun. Not sure which better. The grenade launcher and the rifle. In addition, the infantry platoon will routinely use anti-armor weapons, hand grenades and mines. The rifle platoon is equipped with 2 machine guns, 6 automatic weapons, and 6 grenade launchers. Wait, so do we have more people than weapons? Because I thought we had more. Or I guess 2, 8, 14. I should have more weapons, right? Or are we? Is this Soviet style where 1 gun for 2 people? I don't know. Because they were backpacks and radio winners. Hold on. The M60 machine gun. The machine gun is the only crew-served weapon in the platoon. I don't know what crew-served means. It's also the most important. Is it like a turret? Crew-served. In the glossary, crew-served. What is crew-served? It doesn't find it. So it's not in the glossary. Okay. The only crew-served weapon in the platoon. It's also the most important. The employment of the M60 machine gun is often the most critical decision of the platoon leader. So it's something you set up. So it is like a bit a turret you set up, I think. Yeah. The platoon has 2 of these guns, each manned by a gunner and an ammunition bearer. Yeah. So it's a turret you set up. One guy is feeding the ammo and the other guy is shooting. Yeah. The ammo is belt fed. Yeah, so it's like a minigun. Gas operated automatic weapon. It is heavy. It has a maximum effective range of 1100 meters against an area target, 600 meters against a point target. Okay. It can fire ball and tracer ammunition. Not sure what the difference is between those. Ball and maybe goes into the ammo. What's the difference between ball and tracer? No, it doesn't. Okay. Should it come up, I'll Google it. But right now I do not know what it means. Let's see. We have the SAW, the squad automatic weapon. The squad automatic weapon, or SAW, is a lightweight, gas-operated, air-cooled, bipod-mounted, okay, one-man portable machine gun. So yeah. I think I've seen those in video games. That provides a base of 5 for infantry squads. There are 2 SAWs per squad. Ah, 6 squad. I need to keep track of how much squads we have. There are 2 SAWs per squad. Oh yeah, adding up a total of 6 in the rifle platoon. So we have 3 squads. Okay. If we have 3 squads, then this must be Kansas, and Illinois, the 2 of the 3 squads. TF armor, I don't know what this is. First Benny, I don't know. I'll figure it out. The SAW fires the same ammunition as the M16 rifle. It can be belt fed or magazine fed. This feature makes it possible to share ammunition with other riflemen in the platoon. Okay. Normally, a 200 round canister is attached to the machine gun. The SAR weighs 15.5 pounds. Why not kilograms? Thank you, America. And there's a maximum effective range of 800 meters. At least they use meters for distance. Use miles, I would get insane. For an area target and 600 meters for a point target. Okay. That's not a big difference. A standard load of 600 rounds is carried by a missile gunner. Okay. The M203 is a 40mm single shot breech loaded pump action. So you crack it open. Is that breech loaded? And you put it in and then you cluck cluck. Okay. Cool. Pump action grenade launcher. It is attached to a rifle. It's that rifle. It fires a variety of ammunition, so multiple types of ammunition, including explosive, tear gas, illumination, buckshot, and practice. Not sure we need this on the battlefield. Practice grenades. It can suppress targets that are in defilade. I don't know what that means. Defilade. What is that? Defilade. It's not in the glossary, unfortunately. Well, suppress or disable armored vehicles, except tanks, penetrate. Can it or can it not penetrate concrete timber or sandbag weapon positions and some buildings? Illuminate and signal. Weird grammar here. There's one grenadier armed with a grenade launcher in each rifle squad. Weighs 11 pounds. It's an average range of 350 meters against the area target. 160 meters against the point target. Okay. The rifle, the M60A2, is the standard military rifle of the US military. The original design has been in service since the early 1960s. The M16A2 is the latest product improvement. It was improved by removing the full automatic option of the original M16 rifle. Okay, yeah. Whereas the M16A1 had safe, semi-automatic, and automatic positions. The two had safe, semi-automatic, and burst options. So these are the types you can put your gun to. Safe, I assume it doesn't shoot. Semi-automatic, you keep it in and it keeps shooting. And burst, you click once and it shoots multiple ones. I think that's what it means. I'm not into guns. I don't know. In addition, the M16A2 has an improved heavier barrel and a new compensator to reduce muzzle climb. Don't know what muzzle climb is. The result is a weapon with range and accuracy superior to that of the original. Okay, it's better range, better accuracy. Yeah. It is magazine fed, gas operated, semi-automatic and burst automatic shoulder fired weapon. So, okay. The M16A2 weighs 80.7 pounds and has a maximum effective range of 800 meters for area target. Suppressive fire, I don't know. Something like that. And 580 for point target. The M16 can be fitted with a bayonet. Each can be loaded with a magazine. The standard load. Stay around. The anti-tank weapon. The M160 36 84 or Carl Gustav. I like that better. I'm gonna call it the Carl Gustav. Is a self-contained shoulder-fired anti-tank weapon. The M136 replaced the older law in the late 1980s. The 84 consists of a high explosive anti-tank rocket in a disposable one-piece watertight fiberglass aluminium launcher tube. So it's one fire use, you know. It's lightweight and it can penetrate. Now it uses inches again. Oh, I don't know how much that is. Of armor. Make it a weapon that can be used against some enemy armor, bunkers, and other hard targets at a range of 200 meters. Okay. The warhead is not sufficient to defeat the armor of most main battle tanks. Several hits by an 84 are required to seriously damage an enemy tank. Okay, so you need to shoot a multiple. How many do we have again? Oh, we don't have any laws, or do we? So we need to get them. Okay, seems quite vital. Make it a weapon that can be used against some. The warhead. Yeah. Several hits are required. For this reason, the most effective for firing range is to have a pair fired and volley at the same target. Okay. The 84 is issued as a round of ammunition, as are grenades. The number is required is determined by the unit's mission. Also, it's not standard, but it depends on the mission. I'm not sure in this mission if you know how much we have. Maybe we'll find out later. Each soldier is issued hand grenades as needed for the operation. Normally, each soldier will carry a minimum of 2 anti-personnel grenades and 1 smoke grenade, either colored smoke with special marking or white smoke for obscuration. The grenades vary in type, size, and shape, but are generally round or cylindrical. All smoke grenades. Okay. The most common frag is the M67. It weighs 0.9 pounds and has a smooth baseball type shape with yellow markings on an olive drab. Yeah, it's these eggs, you know. I think. Or they're baseball type, so the Americans play a lot of baseball, right? So they should be good at throwing grenades. The massive effective range is as far as the thrower can pitch it. It's usually no more than 40 meters. The blast radius is approximately 50 meters. That's pretty large. Yeah. Grenades, like all other, are that's required emission, so it's not standard. The mines. M18A1 anti-personnel or Claymore mine. The Claymore is issued as needed to individual infantrymen. It is olive drab, curved rectangular fireglass case, containing 1.85 pounds. So, containing 1.5 pounds of composition C4, explosive and 700 small steel balls. Normally, each squad will carry at least 2 The mine weighs 3.5 pounds and set up by a soldier and can be commanded to detonate it by the use of a blasting cap triggered by a handheld firing device connected by the mine. So they can be remotely detonated or tripwire. When detonated, the mine scatters as far as 350 meters forward in a 60-degree arc. The claymore is very lethal and can also do significant damage to thin-skinned vehicles such as jeeps or trucks. An excellent weapon for close quarter fighting. Okay. The anti-personnel mine. The light infantryman reinforces his defensive positions with mines whenever possible. Okay? The anti-personnel mine or bouncing battery is a bounding, I don't know what bounding means, but it bounces, I guess. It's a bounding fragmentation type mine. It weighs 7.88 pounds. When detonated, the mine bounces. So it shoots up into the air and then it explodes. Okay. That's why it's a bouncing battery. Okay. When detonated, the mine bounces with 1 meter into the air before exploding. The casual radius is 30 meters. The mine is detonated by 8 to 44 pounds of pressure applied to one of the prongs on the fuse, or by 3 to 8 pounds applied to the tripwire. With a fuse installed, the mine is 8 inches high and contains 1 pound of TNT. Okay, details. How much do we have? Oh, no, not good. The heavy anti-tank mine. Light infantrymen often must establish their own anti-tank minefields. Usually these minefields consist of a few mines at a carefully selected choke point. These minefields are termed point minefields. I don't know what that means. The M16, M15 heavy anti-tank mine is enclosed in a circular steel case that is 13 inches in diameter, almost 5 inches high. It weighs 30 pounds and has a main charge. Okay, the main fuse is activated by do know that for reference, I only know American weights due to what is it? My 500-pound life. So a really fat man is 500 pounds. What is that? 200 kilos. The main fuse is activated with the pressure on the plate on top of the mine. So probably a soldier with all its weight, in the backpack might be heavy enough to activate it. I don't know. American weights, I don't know. The M15 can disable main battle tanks by destroying their tracks or penetrating their armor or lightly armored body. So anti-tank mines are normally laid by combat engineers. In battle, there are never enough engineers to go around. Yeah. Oh, so we have another anti-tank mine. So we have like 3 main anti-tank weapons. We have the Carl Gustav. We have the heavy anti-tank mine, and we have the Killer. The Killer metallic anti-tank is enclosed in a steel case that fires a 9-inch shaped charge into the belly of an unsuspected armored vehicle. Only 4.5 inches high, weighs 18 pounds and has a main charge of blah blah blah. The main fuse is activated by pressure or by disturbing the tilt rod on the top of the mine 20 degrees. It is capable of destroying all main known battle tanks. So even the heaviest uber tank, the Ragheads Arabs are managed to make, or what is it, the cult of Cain? I don't know. The killer mind can take care of them. Okay. So we have one supporting weapon, and that is, what you call in on Call of Duty when you have a big kill streak. So you need to get it. You don't get it standard. The javelin is a lightweight one-man portable fire and forget. So it means you don't have to aim it, I guess, because it's heat seeking. Is that what fire and forget is? Yeah. Medium anti-tank weapon. Unlike the dragon, uh, which it is replacing, javelin does not require the soldier to guide it. So you don't have to keep aiming. Ah, yeah. So those video games where you have a rocket launcher and it follows the laser pointer and doesn't have to do that anymore. Uh, it's always a fun mechanic for you to. Okay, so it doesn't need to be guided. This limits the soldier's exposure to enemy counterfire, so you can shoot and you can go back down. And even enables the soldier to engage a second target while awaiting the first impact. So you come up, you shoot, you go down, put another rocket in it, and shoot on the other. Yeah. The Javelin weapon system consists of two major elements, the command launch unit and the round. Okay. The Javelin round is self-guiding and carries two tandem warheads, so it explodes twice, I guess, one after the other. Yeah. Capable of fanning even the most heavily armored tanks, so it can also take out every tank, the heavy ones. It has an imaged infrared seeker and a direct or top attack selection engagement option. The Javelin has an integrated thermal sight that allows the gunner to say day or night and hit moving targets as far away as 2,000 meters. So it has night vision on it. That's nice. Because the Javelin is new, much of the data is still classified. Okay. Appendix B. When the book guides me to read it, I'll read it. Appendix B. Let's see if I need to go to the glossary again to see if uh, yeah, one of the words I didn't know what they meant. I gotta look that up. That's strange. I It's annoying that it puts MRE in here because everyone knows what that is because I seen all these nerds eating shit from World War II that's still good somehow. But other terms they don't put in, like decommissioned or whatever. Hey, it's V. Hmm. Let's go back to section 2. This is section 1. Been here. Yes. We now understand military weapons a lot better. Read the glossary. Read it later. Let's go back to the story. If I remember from last time, we settled in the valley. We left a part of our squad, or platoon behind, and now we are going to our boss, who has instructions for us. Yeah, he has instructions. The sun rose higher in the clear blue desert sky. It's must be very beautiful, but very hot. Glaring down on the three desert camouflage soldiers was giving me Lawrence of Arabia vibes. Lieutenant David, Sergeant Bob Mark, and Specialist William Hutchington trudged out toward the company command post. So we reached the command post. Okay. They walked slowly along the dusty road that ran to the north wall of Wadi al Sirin. The lieutenant led. Uh, oh yeah, we are the lieutenant. We are Lieutenant Davis. Yes, we are leading now because fucking Piper isn't here to cuck us. Yeah. Uh, Buzzard circled ominously overhead, as if foretelling the doom of anyone who would be crazy enough to fight for this value. Yeah. Do you think those buzzards know something we don't, Lieutenant? Yeah, good for morale, these buzzards. Mark asked almost jokingly as they hurried down the dirt track that led to Captain Bludgell's CP. We're getting at the CP, guys. They give me the creeps, Archibald interjected, shielding his eyes to gaze sky. Yesterdays, when a truck stopped to refuel, I woke up and found one of those damn birds right next to my rucksack. Yeah, going to eat your food, guy. You know what he was doing? He was picking at the pockets of my pack with his beak. Yeah, he was looking for food, of course. Hell, Hutch, Mark explained in his country twang. Hell, Hutch, that there bird was just hungry. It was hungry. He probably thought you had an open emery in your bag. Bird was hungry. Hutchinson shook his head in disbelief. Sergeant Mark laughed at his own remark. We have our joker of the squad. I already like him. Uh, I like Mark. Uh, yeah. Davis considered the conversation as he walked in silence. The buzzards in the desert seemed unnaturally brave. I don't know. I guess it is. They're not used to like Asians eating them. Who knows? Like picking them from the sky. You know? They didn't seem to fear humans very much. After all, it was their home, not man's. The big black birds scoured the desert clean of all refuse. More than once in the past few days, Davis had seen buzzards eating discarded portions of MREs and picking at the remains of a dead camel. Picking at the remains of soon they might have human remains to feast on. Hopefully the enemies and not us. Uh, Davis picked up the pace, shivering from the thought that had just crossed his mind. With this rifle in one hand and the binoculars that were slung around his neck in the other, he led the way to the company CP, reliving the thoughts of the past few weeks. So we're getting our flashbacks, guys. Davis found it hard to believe that only 10 days ago he had been at Fort Benning, Georgia, finishing his course of instruction at the Infantry Officers Basic Course back in the world. Most Americans were oblivious to the gathering storm in the Middle East. Uh, I don't know. Did 9/11 already happen? Probably, right? Davis thought about his company commander, Captain Jules Bludgell, who seemed to be a perpetually unhappy man. Bludgell constantly complained that all the important missions went to Alpha Company or Charlie Company, and he felt that Bravo Company was the red-headed. So we're Bravo. Oh, that's why they were yelling Bravo, Bravo. Yeah, yeah. Bludgell blamed the battalion for every woe, from trash details to aircraft unloading So he's a complainer. Okay? He likes to complain. Davis arrived at the company command post and entered an improvised lean-to. I don't know what a lean-to is. Probably a tent. Created from barbed wire pickets and camouflage rain ponchos. Yeah, it's like a very improvised dwelling. The shade provided by this arrangement offered some limited release from the desert sun. First platoon reporting, sir, Davis said, standing tall as he saluted. Where's Sergeant Piper? Yes, where is he? We should have brought him with us, asked the captain. Bludgell didn't bother to look up at his platoon leader or return his salute. He was writing furiously on a notepad to finish his combat instructions for the company. I left him with the platoon to continue preparing our positions, sir, Davis responded. Next time bring him here for orders issue. Yeah, we should bring him with us. Definitely because uh, maybe if we go to our boss, he'll follow chain of command and stop cucking us. Probably not, but yeah, he should go with us. Uh, yeah. Until you get your feet on the ground, I want you to be his shadow. I don't have time to teach baby lieutenants the art of war right now. So our boss wants us to be his shadow while we are technically his boss. I don't like that. I don't like that. I feel about as welcome as a prostitute at a church social. Yeah, so nobody respects us. So yeah, we need to win a battle because nobody respects us. This is a problem. They thought the air inside the lean is hot enough without blood of blistering comments. Grab a patch of sand and take a seat, Lieutenant. I'll issue the order in a few minutes. Take careful notes and brief Piper when you get back. Davis remembered General George S. Patton's words. Never tell people how to do things. Tell them what to do, and they will surprise you with their ingenuity. Apparently, I'm drinking a lot. Apparently, this concept was lost on Captain Bludgell. So he's a micromanager as well. Davis nodded coldly and sat down cross-legged, cradling his M16 rifle in his arms. He nodded an embarrassed hello to his fellow officers and platoon leaders who were already assembled under the lean-to. Hutchinson's and Sergeant Mark followed their lieutenant into the shade. They sat down right behind Davis. Their desert battle dress uniforms were blotched with white perspiration marks caused by the morning exertion. Happy to be out of the direct sun, they grabbed their canteens and began to drink. Davis recognized most of the men seated under the lean-to, the tent, or it's like a parasol. Sergeant First Class Rossetti, to his right, was the leader of second platoon. A short, bright-eyed sergeant with thick, dark hair, Rossetti was a competent soldier with a friendly and a disarming nature. Okay. He was extremely proud of his platoon, the only one in Bravo Company that didn't have an officer as a platoon leader. Yeah, I don't know the rules yet, but we'll find it. Davis half wished that he had been assigned to lead second platoon instead of third. He didn't know Rossetti very well, but assumed that compared to Piper, he would be a joy to work with. Dude, you need to learn to command everything. I know it's nice if they're not shitheads, but they're gonna be shitheads. Lieutenant Dale Wilcox, third platoon leader, sat next to Rossetti. Wilcox was one of the largest men Davis had ever met, so a giant. He stood 6'7" and arms like logs and body like a heavyweight wrestler. Okay. Next to Wilcox, dwarf by comparison, was the executive officer First Lieutenant Jeff Sandberg, a wire-thin officer. Sandberg stood only 5 feet 7 inches, and he probably weighed no more than 120 pounds. Dripping wet, Davis had known Sandberg for only a few days, but he had already learned to appreciate Sandberg's intelligence and sense of humor. Of all the officers in the company, Sandberg seemed to be the most capable of the lot. Davis liked him. So we like everyone except our own platoon. Yeah. Hutchinson's and Sergeant Mark, the forward observer, sat quietly behind the lieutenant. So behind us, those are our guys. Davis was the only officer to bring his FO to the orders issue. Our forward observer. Okay, I don't know what a forward observer is yet. Uh, Maybe I can look it up. What is a forward observer? If it wants to know. No, it's not working. My control F is not working very well, people. I'll figure it out later what a forward observer is. Ah, that is giving me itchy head. Um, okay. An artillery staff sergeant whom Davis didn't know sat next to Captain Bludgell. The company commander sat on a couple of ammunition boxes. His map lay at his feet, and finally he stopped writing and looked up at the men assembled to receive his orders. The stillness of the desert engulfed Davis as he waited to hear the words that would send him and his men into combat. All right. The air was electric with a gut-wrenching feeling. Davis reached for one of his canteens. It was helpful. Slowly, one gulp at a time, he drained the canteen. The water was warm and bitter, but keeping hydrated in the desert was essential. Captain Bludgell had the lean, athletic build of a long-distance runner. This book is doing a lot to describe all the soldiers. Uh, he was tall, standing 6 feet 2 and weighing about 160 pounds. His crisp features and shaved head gave him first demeanor. He had worried eyes, and he appeared to Davis to be the kind of man who constantly worried that someone was standing over his shoulder watching him. Okay, let's get this order over with. Rachel stoned to the thick pages of the battalion operation order. Situation. The enemy is expected to attack in 2 days. They will probably attack in one day. Knowing how swift our enemy maybe wants to be. But who knows? 2 days. Probably his division reconnaissance will be active in our sector tonight, and his regimental reconnaissance will be out trying to scout our positions tomorrow night. Okay. He will likely attack us just before sunrise on the day after tomorrow. Bludgell paused to let his information sink in. The officers and NCOs in the lean-to shifted nervously in their positions. The mood was deadly serious. A thick tension hung in the air. Davis' face tightened. That's it. Combat. You really are going to fight. Yeah, you signed up for this, soldier. Battalion says that the enemy strength will be a mechanized regiment, possibly reinforced with extra tanks and a couple of dismounted infantry companies, in order to stop him alone long enough for the rest of the US Heavy Brigade to draw its equipment. The battalion believes that the enemy will attack along Axis Viper. They expect the enemy to use the dirt road that runs east-west in our battalion sector. Our friendly situation is pretty simple. We have to hold the line for the next 2 days until more forces can arrive. An armored brigade's worth of personnel has been flown in country and is currently drawing its equipment from 3 positions equipment storage yards. That means that we have to hold on for a day or so. In a couple of days, a brigade from 1st Infantry Division will be rushing to join us. They are planning to occupy an assembled area to the southeast on the day after tomorrow. Okay. I wish the big red one was here right now, Davis mused. The 1st Infantry Division's nickname, earned in the First World War, was the Big Red One. In the war, young American infantrymen were quickly dispatched to Europe to bolster tired allies and to the tide against the aggressors. Now, 8 or so years in the future, they're doing the same thing in a different part of the world. Davis couldn't help but wonder if things ever changed. One heavy task force had already drawn its equipment and joined their light infantry brigade. Their battalion had been given one tank company to support its defense. Bravo Company, that's our company, has pulled the supporting effort again. Our job is to guard the battalion's left flank and block. Blodgett paused as she looked at the name of the valley on the map. Wadi al-Sari. Good old Wadi. Battalion doesn't believe that the enemy will be stupid enough to attack this way. They are betting that the enemy will try to punch through us quickly by taking the high-speed avenue of approach. So we have to sit this one out again while Alpha and Charlie companies do the real fighting? Well, you don't know that. Okay, that's what they believe, okay. Wilcox said with a sneer, moving his big hands over his shaved head to wipe off beads of perspiration. Okay. Captain, my men are ready to fight. Hell, the war will be over before we know it. We didn't come here to watch the bastard in Alpha and Charlie get all the credit. Sergeant Rossetti fidgeted in his seat. This was an old argument. One that Rossetti gave every impression he wanted to avoid. Listen, Bill Cox. Uh, we all know how eager you are to win a combat infantry badge. Everyone laughs nervously. Bludger's mood changed swiftly. His face got red and his features tightened. Oh, he's getting pissed. The captain pointed to his chest. I've got mine, and I don't need any advice from a shaved tail who's never seen combat. It's not your job to worry about the missions we get about or about what a company is doing. Your job is to worry about your platoon, the captain said, raising his voice. I'll do the masterminding in this outfit. Is that clear? Wilcox said stiffly, bristling from the remark. He was smart enough to know when to be silent. He had suffered from Bludgel's stinging servants before. Wilcox had served on the Bludgel for the past 10 months and had learned the score. Ah, the map, it is changing. The map is changing. We have this. There we have this. Cobra and Viper. That's where we expect the attack. Okay. What is this one? Battle position. Yeah. Okay. All right. I will remove this map and get to this map because it's just the same map and it's updated, right? All right. Um. Wilcock had served on the Bloodshaw for the past 10 months and had learned the score. He stared back at his commander, tight-lipped and determined but quiet. I am going to uh, pause the recording here and uh, continue. Start the next thing. And we're back. All right. Blodgett was firmly in charge, like a king on a throne. His tone made it clear that no one would be allowed to question his judgment. All right. Flies swarmed around inside the lean-to. Oh God, it's like going camping, pestering the men as they sat in the shade. The tent was totally quiet, except for the buzzing of flies and the steady voice of the commander. The CEO isn't doing much to relieve the tension, Davis thought. Hell, everybody is scared. Why add to the stress? Does he think we follow him just because he is captain? Yeah, I guess. It is military convention that infallibility is the privilege of seniority. Okay. Yeah, okay. Keep that in mind. Um, our brigade will use artillery, close air support, and a few attack helicopters to conduct a deep operation against the enemy before he closes on our positions. Okay. Blotcho continued, pointing to his map with a metal rifle cleaning rod. Hopefully they'll leave us something to shoot at. Don't. I'd say don't cheer too quick, but yeah. Wilcox grunted and leaned forward to look at the captain's map, like a panther ready to pounce on his prey. Mission! Mission! Bravo Company defense in this in sector not later than 1800 to block enemy forces from penetrating phase line Illinois. Be prepared to counterattack enemy forces that may attack east along axis Viper. It's the mission. Mission. Davis looked at the map in front of Bludgel's feet. He mentally traced the lines that depicted the company's operations graphics. Commander's intent. Right? Commander's intent. The object of the defense is to attrit. That's probably in the glossary what a threat is. The enemy units attacking along axis Viper and force him with our direct anti-tank fires to move to the north. The reason for this is that the brigade plans to destroy the enemy along phase line Illinois with task force armor. If the enemy attacks along Viper, he will enter the battalion's primary engagement area. Our fire should force him to the northeast into task force defensive vector. This will require that the majority of our javelin be sighted against an enemy attack along axis Viper. We can accomplish this by conducting an economy of force effort in Wadi El Sharif. Alright. Commander's intent. It's the intent of the commander.
Everyone seems cocky, Davis mused. Is this first fight bluster or true confidence? Will this exercise in the desert be a repeat of Desert Storm? But confidence alone won't stop enemy tanks. The odds are against us, even if the enemy isn't the best army in the world. At a certain point, quantity gains a quality of its own. Execution. To drive the enemy up the southern edge of Axis Viper and force him to the north. We will deploy 2 platoons, second and third. We are the third. To a BP near the northeast mouth of Wadi al-Sari. This is battle position Bravo, shown on my overlay. So I'm just let's look again at the glossary, because there were some terms there. Attrit is attrition, the reduction of effectiveness of a force caused by the loss of personnel or material. Commander's guidance, the commander's tool to direct the planning process. The restated mission, the initial concept, scheme, the time plan, the type, the intent, the vision of the battle, which define the purpose, the end states, and the terrain, and how the end state will be achieved. The commander's intent can be explained in terms of the mission purpose, method, and end state. The purpose is the objective of the action. The mission is the end state. The importance explain how the end state will be achieved by the force as a whole and how far to go to achieve that end state in terms of combat power. The acid test of understanding the commander's intent is for the subordinate to act in concert with the commander's desires in a situation where the circumstances are different from those foreseen at the time the plan was issued, and the commander can be reached. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at the map again. We have Viper, which goes beside the valley, and we have Cobra, which goes into the valley. We need to block enemy forces from penetrating phase line Illinois. And we need to prepare to counterattack enemy forces that go along Viper. Okay. I do not know where Illinois is. Oh, here is Illinois. Where's Illinois? Okay. So, we need to make sure that they get past Illinois. Okay. Yeah. The commander's intent. What does she? How does he want us to achieve this? It is to, well, engage the enemy units attacking along axis Viper, which is beside the valley, and force him to move to the north. And the north is that way, so away from the valley, into the desert. Okay. The reason for this is that the brigade plans to destroy the enemy with task force armor. So to the east, to the north, there is our allied tanks armor. So we need to get them to there. Our fire should force him to the northeast. Okay. This will require that the majority of our javelin medium anti-tank weapons be sighted against an enemy along axis Viper. Okay. Execution to drive the enemy off the southern edge of axis Viper. Okay. Need to get them away from here. So we drive them away from where we have our trap. That is weird. But okay. Those are the orders, those are the orders. Okay. Alright. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone is cocky. Alright. Uh-huh. Davis and the other officers and NCOs searched the commander's map. Each soldier identified the boundaries and position that would become the setting for Bravo Company's first taste of combat. We expect to hit the enemy with javelins as they drive along axis Viper. Like I just said. The javelins, which were they again? No, no, no. The javelins. These were the support. Yeah. Oh yeah, they were the fire and forget. Right. Fire and forget. Those were the javelins. Section 8, section 5, section 2, section 1. Section 2. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So from from here we fire our javelins to Viper. Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. I will concentrate the main effort of the companies on the northwest against Viper. Okay, so our boss will be in the northwest. Whatever comes down Viper will be ours to engage. This way, Wilcox, your chance to get into a fight. Okay. No problem. Do I get javelin teams? No. Negative. I'll keep them with me and control their fires personally. When the enemy moves into the range of our javelin fires, we'll shoot him in the flanks as he runs by. Then we'll engage any supporting infantry he may have following his armor. Davis, your platoon, that's us, will block any movement through the valley. You don't have much to worry about along Axis Cobra. Ah yeah, we go along Axis Cobra. The valley is too constricted for vehicle movement, and the anti-tank ditch will convince them that the approach to the wadi is too risky. I persuaded the battalion's commander that the platoon can block the western approach to Wadi al-Sari. Okay. I persuaded the battalion's commander that the platoon can block the Western approach. I don't care how you plan your defense, as long as nothing gets through. Okay. As long as nothing gets through. Oh. Thank God, Davis mused. At least Bludgel hasn't told me exactly where to fight. I must find the decisive point in my sector and take the decisive point in my sector and take advantage of it. Ah, here it explains the decisive point. There is in every battlefield a decisive point, the possession of which more than of any other helps secure victory by enabling its holders to make the proper applications of the principles of war. All right, there is a vital point. Keep that in mind. Vital point. The company commander paused for a minute and then directed his full attention to Lieutenant Davis. Oh, we're getting a full attention. Lieutenant, just play it safe. Uh, your platoon will get an anti-armor team with 2 javelins for your use. Oh, nice. Yeah. The tank ditch, so we're getting pampered. Okay, sure, give it to us. The tank ditch that was constructed at the western mouth was put in by some engineers 2 days ago. An oil company had built an underground oil pipe ditch there, and our allies merely improved on the original works. So are there oil pipes in the region and shit? Maybe. Hmm. I expect you to use the anti-tank mines and the wire that was dumped somewhere near the ditch. Okay, you want me to use the mines. Yeah, use all you get. Don't be sparingly. Okay. Davis looked at his map. The area of responsibility had been issued with him all alone against a major avenue of approach. He swallowed hard. It's an awfully big area to give a platoon. Virgil ignored the dimensions of the battlefield. I didn't realize you were such an experienced tactician, Lieutenant. I know you haven't been in the company long, but in Bravo Company, lieutenants are expected to follow orders. Maybe you didn't hear me when I said that battalion believes that the enemy will attack along Axis Viper. Only a fool or an idiot would try to attack through a narrow defile like Wadi al-Sari. Well, it's probably going to happen for the story to happen, you know? But we'll see. The captain paused again, pointing with a rifle cleaning rod at the northwest entrance to Wadi al-Sari. Then nodded to the artillery sergeant at his side. Fire support, he announced. The sergeant nodded back and then handed a piece of paper to each platoon leader. Gentlemen, for those of you I haven't met before, let me introduce myself. I'm Staff Sergeant Fraud, the company FSO. FSO, Fire Support Officer, I guess. Sergeant Fraud seemed nervous. He fidgeted with a metal pointer and tapped erratically on the map. After the brigade's deep operations, we can expect to get artillery fires. The battalion has 1 battalion of howitzers in direct support of our rifle battalion. And there is a battalion. So is this the enemy artillery or is this our artillery? I'm not sure. There's a battalion of howitzers in general support of the brigade. The company will also have its own mortars. It knows too much, so they must be allies. I'll control the fires the two company models and coordinate your battalion mortar and artillery support. I've marked the targets on the commander's map and listed the targets in a sector for you on this target list. You can plot them on your own maps. Okay. The FSO paused to let this information register. His face was a mask of concentration and worry. If you're really lucky, you may also get some close air support. The brigade has several sorties of. I guess this is an airplane. Or a chopper, I don't know. If you have a good target, a column of tanks, for instance, call me on the company command net and I'll do my best to alert the battalion to get air support. Any questions? No one said a word. The sergeant returned to his original position and sat down on an empty ammunition can. This could get tough, Davis thought. The odds don't look very good, even with the tank ditch supporting the first platoon's blocking mission. He looked at the map intently, his attention focused on the large B in the center of a BP signal, which represented the location of BP Bravo. I guess that's us. Bludgel expected to fight from battle point position Bravo and leave first platoon to cover his flank. First platoon was definitely a sideshow in this operation. Further argument appeared useless. Bludgel wasn't about to change his mind now. The captain was consumed with his own plan. 2 battalions of artillery weren't enough to stop an enemy regiment. The 105mm howitzer were useful against dismounted troops and might do some damage against BMPs, but they certainly wouldn't stop tanks. Even the big guns had to use dual-purpose improvised conventional munitions to damage a tank. Dipicum was a very effective artillery shell that exploded over its targets and showed the target area with dozens of little bomblets. During Operation Desert Storm, the Iraqis had called it Steel Rain, but because Davis was defending against the secondary avenue of approach, first platoon will be last priority artillery support. Okay. No operation plan extends with any certainty beyond the first encounter with the main body of the enemy. Keep that in mind. Okay. Second platoon on the western side of BP Bravo has priority of fires. The first platoon will get any fires I can spare. Are we the second platoon or the third platoon? I forgot what platoon we were. Okay. First platoon will get any fires I can spare. Davis, get with Piper and help you plan artillery targets to support your defense. Okay. So we need to set up the locations where artillery will fire. So when they're there, we can call them and it comes there. Okay. Yeah. No, we are the second platoon. Yeah. On the western side of BP Bravo. On the western side of BP Bravo. What you? You, I guess you'll be Bravo. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. So we can get as much as artillery as we want. Okay, cool. Let's use it. Davis' anger grew with each reference to his lack of ability. Don't worry, guy. We'll get our respect. It took all of his self-control to stop from exploding. Sir, I know I'm new here, but our artillery will be effective only against a dismounted enemy attack. With what we have, 105 millimeter and moderate, we won't be able to stop the enemy's armor. Davis replied with careful precision. We don't have very much artillery, and what we will get will go to the main effort, Roger responded. If you have a high payoff target, we can switch the priority. Get with Piper and he'll show you how it's done. What about the engineer support? I don't have any to give. We have that monster tank ditch to block the wadi. All the engineer support I get will go to the main effort, Bloodshaw continued. The priority for all combat support assets is BP Bravo. BP Bravo. Is it on the map? BP Bravo. No. BP Bravo. Well, it's not us. So, no, not us. He suddenly felt very tired. First platoon is totally on its own, he thought. Yeah, but yeah, good, okay. I doubt I'll get any help from Blodgel. Everyone is underestimating the enemy, Davis thought. Then it's your duty to not. Maybe this is just a natural reaction after the army's experience in Desert Storm. Am I exaggerating the danger or simply overreacting to my first taste of combat? At least I'll have free hand with my defense. No, we trust our instincts. Everyone is cocky, everyone is looking down for us, but when they're dead and fucked, we won't underestimate them. Okay. At least I'll have a free hand with my defense. Service support, logistics, supply, and magical. As per SOP, we received 100 anti-tank mines, 50 personnel mines, 50 rolls of barbed wire in the supply package about an hour ago. The mines are located in our engineer equipment dump near the northeast mines of the valley. You will have to place your own minefields. All minefields must be approved by me before they are placed. Okay. Davis plotted the position of the engineer equipment dump on his map. A water trailer is located here at CP and will be replenished each morning. Make sure your men drink plenty of water. Davis studied the map, searching for the decisive point of a battlefield where he could use his weapons to their fullest capacity. Javelin anti-tank missiles could hit a moving tank at 1,000 meters. 84 at only 300 meters. 84s could stop armored cars, but they were almost useless against tanks. Only javelins and anti-tank missiles could stop enemy tanks. Okay. I feel like I should remember this. So I'm going to put it in my notes for further study. I know I'm filling up with a lot of notes, but it seems wise, you know? Yeah. Command and signal frequencies are per SAO1. Standard call signs in effect. I'll be with 2nd platoon. The EXO will be with 3rd platoon. Okay. Order of succession, chain of command are XO, second platoon leader, third platoon leader, first platoon leader. XO, I'm not sure what XO is. Time is now 11:15. I want each of you to copy the graphics depicted on my map. What are your questions? Sir, I need more firepower. Ah. You give me 2 javelins with 4 missiles per javelin gunner and only 10 8-4s. I don't have much to fight with. I need about 15 of them. And I could use some more javelin missiles and some more anti-tank mines. Anything else on your shopping list? Hmm. Yes, I could use some flares. Flares? What do you need those for? Why not use your thermals? The javelins have thermal sights, but I only have night vision goggles and a few night vision sights to fire my 84s, machine guns, and M16s. They replied confidently. Parachute flares might come in handy if the enemy tries to infiltrate my positions at night. I'll see what I can do. Sandberg. Sandberg is someone different, said quietly, said quickly, before the company commander could respond. Well, Sandberg is someone else. You can pick up as many mines as you can carry. The 8-4s are getting difficult to come by. The handheld illumination flash should be no problem. I'll do my best to get them for you before tomorrow morning. Don't get yourself killed trying to arm a mine that you don't know how to use. Rachel interjected, pointing a finger at Davis. If you pick up mines from the engineer dump, make sure you follow the arming instructions to the letter. Better get Piper to help you. Yes, sir, Davis said, no longer faced by the continuous injunction to check with his platoon sergeant. Now I get why we didn't bring him along. Because the cockening would I get it now. The cockening would be even more so. I've tried digging into this rock with entrenching tools, it just doesn't work. I need picks, shovels, sandbags, and material for overhead covers. Sandberg. Sandberg! Yes, sir. Battalion promises me that we'll get more class 4 materials, including sandbags, timber, and some metal plate for overhead cover. I also asked for the extra tools. The class 4 material will be transported by civilian trucks, which are scheduled to arrive early this afternoon. They'll dump the barrier material at BP Bravo. I'll need a 10-man detail from each platoon to help unload the trucks and move the material to your defensive positions. When do you want the detail? Davis asked. Have them here standing by in 3 hours, Sandberg replied. Faint smile playing across his face. We'll go. We'll comply, I guess. I don't know. Davis said, nothing, nodding to his RTO, resource tit officer. I don't know what it means. To call back to Sergeant Piper and inform him the tasks. I could use some help moving the barrier material and mounts. I'll give you all the support I can. I have 2 Hummervers trucks, I guess, with trailers on loan until tomorrow noon. I'll have to make good use of them. I'll try to get you early tomorrow morning. Good. Any more questions? Yes. What if the enemy doesn't come down Axis Viper but punches through on Cobra? Are we going to orient our fighting positions? North or south? You don't get it, do you? The enemy isn't stupid. He won't come down the body with the anti-tank ditch and Piper's men watching him. Bludgell replied angrily, appearing incensed that the sergeant would question his tactical judgment. His like, they are not stupid, but if they do it, then it is stupid. Then it is smart if you're not prepared enough. I don't like our boss, the grumpy old man. Like what if they do the thing we don't expect them to do? Oh, they won't. No, but what do we do if they do it? No, they won't. Fuck him. Okay. Don't forget who we're fighting here. These guys aren't much competition. Yeah, yeah, I agree with Davis. We are underestimating the enemy. The tank ditch by itself denies the entire avenue to the enemy. I'll leave my map here with EXO for you to copy. Now let's get to work. Dismissed. So first they say they're not stupid, and then they say they are stupid. Uh-huh. The men stood up, saluted, and slowly departed for their units. Captain Bludgel left the command post as Sergeant Fraud to inspect BP Bravo. Davis stayed for a few minutes to copy the commander's operation graphics onto the map, then left the lean-to. So Bruce, are you ready? Sandberg asks, oh, well, our name is Bruce. Sandberg is nice. I with a smile. Hey, Jeff, I'm all out on my own, defending a position 4 clicks away from the rest of the company, and I hardly know my platoon. How can I complain? Don't worry, Bludgel is a bit intense, but he's probably right. He knows where the mass company effort, and he's going for the best chance to bag some bad guys before they all surrender. He put you there to keep you safe. Just trust that platoon sergeant of yours, and he'll take care of you. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. Piper, he's another problem. We don't see eye to eye yet. Look, Bruce, everybody is uptight and tired, for Christ's sake. We all realize that we may be under combat in a few hours. Just give Piper a chance. He's one of the best. He fought in Desert Storm as a squad leader in the airborne division. Listen to him. He knows what he's doing. If you handle him the right way, he won't let you down. Now, Bruce doesn't get how bad the problem is. If you need better understanding of infantry weapons and tactics, read Appendix A-B. Let's go read Appendix B. I know, guys, we're going slow. We haven't been to a decision yet, but we're learning, you guys. Appendix B. The role of light infantry on the modern battlefield. Light infantry units are specifically organized to fight and win on any terrain in the low to mid-intensity spectrum of war. They provide the United States with a versatile and strategically mobile military force that can rapidly deploy by air to any battlefield in the world. Light infantry is strategically mobile. The resupply needs of light infantry units are far less than those of heavy armored force. Because light infantry units have few vehicles, their fuel supply requirements and ammo usage are low. The ability to deploy rapidly, however, comes at a cost in fighting capability and tactical mobility. Yeah. To be light enough to deploy rapidly, the light infantry sacrifices much in the terms of firepower and combat support. They have limited firepower and not equipped with heavy weapons. Light infantry units must be reinforced. There we go. Reading a lot. It's not like your normal choose your own adventure book with a couple of lines. Very detailed. But we'll get through it. They have limited firepower, not equipped. Light infantry units must be reinforced with heavy forces to defeat most mechanized or armored threats. Yeah. The artillery, provided mainly by howitzers, cannot range very far or move very quickly. Once strategically deployed, most of the soldiers in light infantry units are reduced in mobility to the rate of foot marching. Against enemy mechanized and armored forces, they are at a severe disadvantage. The trick for the light infantry is to avoid enemy tank forces whenever possible. Okay? Against armored threats, light infantry units fight best on terrain that favors their unique abilities. Okay, we have that. We have Wadi al Wadi, or whatever it's called. We have the valley. Like any weapon or type of unit, light infantry has advantages as well as weaknesses. Light infantry is particularly suitable for defending areas of constricted terrain, Wadi, conducting air mobile operations, and fighting in cities and towns. The history of determined infantry defending passes and key choke points is legendary. The light infantry forces gain more combat capability when working with other forces in combined arms teams. Combined arms is defined as the coordinated action by the elements of different combat arms. The US Marine Corps definition, given in a tactic manual, I don't know, is the idea of posing the enemy not just with a problem but with a dilemma, a no-win situation. You combine your supporting arms, organic fires, and maneuver in such a way that the action which the enemy takes to avoid one threat makes him vulnerable to another. That's leading them to the tanks. That's the idea. We lead them away from the valley because that's where we have our tanks. Um, this is like a two-handed puncher who can deploy infantry, artillery, tanks, army aviation, and other combat support assets to force the enemy between rock and a hard place. Together with heavier forces, light infantry units can employ combined arms to overpower and defeat the enemy. To do this, the light infantry is trained to move where others cannot go, strike hard, and finish rapidly. Infiltration, for example, is one of light infantry's most effective combat techniques. Understanding this, the US Army Light Infantry doctrine emphasizes surprise, clever use of terrain, and the skill of the individual infantryman to win. The light infantry leaders at platoon level are tacticians. They cannot merely respond mechanically to situations on the battlefield. It takes great skill and mental agility to successfully lead infantrymen in battle. Leaders are expected to think and make decisions. All decisions, however, are expected to conform to the basic goal of the commander. The basic principle of leadership in the US Army, and particularly in light infantry units, is to always try to make decisions at the lowest possible level of command so that they can be made as quickly as possible. On the battlefield, hesitation brings defeat, often. Leaders in the light infantry must employ maneuver to close with the enemy and then fire and movement to destroy him. This places great responsibility on the infantry leader. To win, the infantry leader must know how to use initiative, understand intent, analyze the battlefield, make rapid tactical decisions, and be ready to take independent action as required. The light infantry leader cannot depend on constant direction but must fight independently even when he cannot communicate outside his own zone or sector. He must know the intention of the commander 2 levels above him, understand the concept of operation of his immediate commander, and know the responsibilities of the units on his flanks and in support of his operation. So I'm just looking how much is left. Let's do it. The battlefield is a chaotic and lethal environment. Normal use rules of civilized societies do not exist here. Duh. Leaders must be cunning and ruthless. They must select the correct fire and movement techniques when in contact. While under fire, they must choose whether to use individual movement techniques or bounce and rushes using a support element, and whether to bypass resistance and seek soft spots. They must anticipate enemy locations and movements so that as the lead element in the attack or defense, they do not lose freedom of maneuver. In short, infantry leaders have to depend on their close combat skill and inspiring leadership to kill the enemy and protect their own soldiers. In the light infantry, there's no armor to hide behind. Light infantry tactics depend on small unit leaders who can carry out mission-type orders on a constantly changing battlefield. Decision-making, therefore, is the critical task of the light infantry leader. The subordinate leader is guided by his commander's intent. An effective commander's intent must explain the mission object, desired end result, reason. Oh, that's what the commander does. Yeah. And the importance. For the desired end result, the reason, desired end result dictates on the situation, and the importance, what will occur if the end result is not achieved, and how far to go to achieve it. The action. The understanding of this definition is vital to the light infantry leader's tactical success. Where the situation changes, we must make on-the-spot decisions. A clear knowledge of the commander's intent can provide a tactical leader with the implicit understanding that enables him to outthink and act faster than the enemy. Furthermore, every light infantry leader is required to understand the intent of the commander 2 echelons above his level of command. This becomes essential in making independent decisions in the heat of battle when senior commanders either cannot be reached or cannot be reached in time. Understanding the intent of the commanders 2 echelons above enables the subordinate to use the senior's intent as a guide or action. Guided with this intent, he can make faster and more correct decisions. Alright. We have the hierarchy. That's good. The organization of the light infantry company. An infantry battalion is composed of 3 rifle companies and 1 headquarter company. The rifle company is the main element within a light infantry battalion. The rifle company is extremely light and foot mobile. The organization of light infantry company is austere. It consists of a headquarters, platoon, and 3 rifle platoons. The total personal strength is 5 officers and approximately 130 riflemen. The headquarters platoon has a headquarters section and an anti-armor section. The medium anti-armor weapons are consolidated under the headquarters platoon. Okay. There are also 2 mortars organic to the headquarters section. An organizational diagram of a rifle company without attachment is shown as follows. Okay. So we have this, the HQ, is probably what it is. These are the rifle platoons. And this is, yeah, I have no idea how to read this. These are hieroglyphs. But so be it. Yeah. The rifle platoon, that's what we're the leader of. But this is what we are. We are the rifle platoon. This is the big boss, the grumpy boss who cucks us. Maybe this is the guy with the German name that was nice to us. Think so. Think this is Mr. Supply Guy. This is the big boss. This is us. 1 of 3 with 2. No. The rifle platoon is led by a 2nd lieutenant platoon leader. The platoon consists of 33 soldiers and the platoon leader. So, yeah. This is us. These are the soldiers. Okay. So leading 33 men. Yeah. The rifle platoon can operate as a unit or as 3 separate squads under the control of a platoon headquarters. Each squad contains 9 men. The squad can act as a unit or as 2 teams. Oh, this is what it builds up. Of course, the company is built of this and this. Yeah, okay. Now I get it. Do I get it? I think so. Yeah. 2, 1, 2 equals 5. Yeah. So, yeah, I think so. Each squad contains 9 men. The squad can act as a unit or as 2 teams. Okay. Yeah. M60, MG, TM. Don't know what that means. They're 4 important people, I guess. Getting through it, guys. It's sorry, I had to break again. These videos are getting long, I know, but maybe once we can make decisions, it'll go quick. But we have to prepare, you know? All right. Duties of key personnel. Second Lieutenant Davis is the leader of 1st Platoon B Company. He has a platoon sergeant and 3 squad leaders. The squad leader and 2 team leaders lead by example in a go where I go, shoot where I shoot mode of operation. 2 machine guns are placed in the platoon headquarters. These weapons are the most potent, longest ranging weapons in the platoon. They are controlled and positioned by the platoon leader, us. A rifle platoon leader is in charge of 33 riflemen, an artillery forward observer team, a medical aid man, and if the mission requires, javelin equipped anti armor teams. Rifle platoons, however, are seldom at full strength, and soldiers are required to perform a wide range of tasks to compensate for unfilled positions in the rifle platoon. As a general rule, the rifle platoon's leader will man his crew-served weapons as his first priority. The duties of key personnel within a platoon are explained below. Okay. Platoon leader. Leadership is the key to combat power. The platoon leader leads the light infantry platoon. He is responsible for all that the platoon does or fails to do. This includes the tactical deployment, training, administration, personnel management, and logistics of his platoon. He does this by planning, making timely decisions, issuing orders, assigning tasks, supervising platoon activities, and inspiring his soldiers by his personal example. He must know his soldiers and their weapons and know how best to use them. He must know how to use supporting weapons such as the machine gun and the mortar. The rifle platoon leader leads by example. He employs his platoon to support his company and battalion missions. He commands his platoon through his 3 squad leaders and the platoon sergeant. The platoon leader accomplishes his assigned mission based on the company's mission and the intent of the company and battalion commanders. In the absence of orders, he takes the initiative to accomplish the mission. When this is done, he informs his commander of his actions. He makes his plans with the help of his platoon sergeant and squad leaders and the advice of his forward observer. He leads from the front. Okay. Platoon sergeant. Piper. Ugh. The platoon sergeant is normally a sergeant first class with 10 to 20 years of experience in the infantry. He is the senior non-commissioned officer in the platoon. He advises and assists the platoon leader in all functions of the platoon. He supervises the administration, logistics, and training of the platoon. Yeah. Our roles are turned around because he cucks us. We give him advice to, yeah. He is second in command of the platoon and acts for the platoon leader if the platoon leader is killed or wounded. He is responsible to the platoon leader for the organization and control of the platoon command post, assists in employment of the machine guns, arranges for resupply from the company first sergeant, okay, so that's a level above us, and directs the platoon medic and takes care of many other details that allow the platoon to fight and win on the battlefield. Okay. Squad leader. The squad leader is normally a staff sergeant with 6 to 10 years of experience in the infantry. He is responsible for all that his squad does or fails to do. He is a tactical leader. He leads by example. He controls the maneuver of the squad and the rate and distribution of its fires. To do this, he controls two fire teams in the offensive, selects each fighting position in the defense, and gives the proper commands, codes, and signals to start, stop, and shift fires. He also sees to the total needs of his soldiers and their weapons. He requests and issues ammunition, rations, and special equipment. The team leader is usually a sergeant or corporal with less than 6 years of experience in the infantry. He leads his team of 3 men by example and helps the squad leader as required. His team is called a fire team. He controls the maneuver of his fire team and the rate of placement of fire by leading from the front and using proper commands and signals. The forward observer. The forward observer is usually a sergeant attached to the platoon from the direct support artillery battalion. The forward observer, or FO, fuck off, no, helps the platoon leader to plan for and execute indirect mortar and artillery fires. He passes target information over to his radio to either the company mortar section or the battalion mortar platoon, or the direct support artillery battalion. In emergencies, he may request and control close air support. The platoon medic. The platoon medic is a vital part of the platoon. He's attached to the platoon during combat operations. We don't know who that is yet. He helps the platoon sergeants to direct medical aid and evacuation. He also monitors the health and hygiene of the soldiers in the platoon. Okay. The radio telephone operator. The RTO is a vital part of the platoon headquarters. He is a rifleman who carries a radio, a range of 16 kilometers. The radio is the platoon's only means of radio communications with the company commander. There is one for the platoon leader and one for the company observer, for the forward observer. So the two. In 40k you have those guys, right? The Vox, the Voxcast man. Yeah, that's these guys. True to the glossary, guys. We went through part 2, section 2, and I think you'll be close to getting our first decision soon. Let's go to section 3. Here we go, guys. Davis, back with his platoon in the western mouth of Wadi al-Sari, studied his map. We like our maps, folks. There were several ways he could defend his sector. His mission, he reminded himself, was to block enemy forces from attacking through Wadi al-Sari. Block, it's more like kill if they come through. Yeah. In spite of that, Blodgel didn't expect the enemy to attack through here. Davis knew that his mission was critical to the company's success. Okay. We have a quote here. Block. Deny the enemy access to a given area or prevent an enemy advance in a given direction. It may be for a specified time. Units may have to retain terrain and accept decisive engagement. So what are we to block? We are to block. Okay, let's put this here. We are to block them from passing through Illinois. We are like here somewhere. Yeah. All the others, they are through here. We're the only ones here. So they can't go past here. So they either they go here or they whatever. But fuck them. Yeah. Okay. Davis quickly saw that there are three ways to defend the valley. Forward of the trails, behind the trails. I don't know what trails they're talking about. Or in the trails. He quickly scribbled 3 sketches to mentally wargame his options. A forward defense, I guess forward of the trails, was the simplest option. If the enemy tried to attack through Wadi al-Sri, he would have to fight through Davis' men first. It would require the preparation of a platoon battle position east of the tank ditch to deny the enemy access into the trails. He would have to improve their present fighting positions and anti-tank ditch with mines and wire, thus blocking the enemy's advance into the valley. This option would maximize simplicity, mass, and unity of command. Sometimes the simplest plan was the best one. This is also what a commander is advising, I think. But yeah, the commander expects no one to attack through here, so nothing will happen. No. Nothing ever happens, Chud. That's not. Davis' second option was a reverse slope defense at the eastern edge of the 4 trails that led into the valley. This course of action called for the entire platoon to reposition to the east, abandoning the hill that overlooked the tank ditch. So we're abandoning our hill. Okay. A reverse slope defense would deny the platoon clear observation of the enemy as he approached the valley. Well, I already don't like that, but it would provide better protection from enemy direct and indirect fires. No, we need to know what the enemy is doing. The concept was to allow the enemy to breach the tank ditch and mines, place obstacles to force the enemy to move along the northern trails, and destroy the enemy at close range as he entered the valley. Okay. This course of action maximizes security and economy of force. Economy of force is not up to us. Economy of force is up to a level higher. We don't have to do economy of force. Fuck that. I don't like this option. Second option is dumb option. Okay. The third option was to block the enemy in each of the 4 trails that led into Wadi al-Suri. Davis knew that he had more short-range weapons than long-range weapons. He could divide the platoon into anti-armor ambush teams and assign each team a trial that led into the valley. The platoon could engage the attacker's lead vehicles in selected short-range combat areas along each trail. By fighting close-range battle in the trails that led into the valley, The platoon could pick off the enemy one at a time. The enemy wouldn't see defenders until it was too late. The option would maximize surprise and offensive action. That's interesting. I think that's interesting. You know why that's interesting? Because the commander is expecting that they won't attack through here. Yeah. They are expecting this. Yeah. So maybe they are not expecting we are defending it very well. I don't know. No. I'm not sure I like this one. Okay. Sorry if you hear the increased sound. Mm. So I assume the enemy is coming from here. Or is the enemy going from here? You will usually find that the enemy has 3 courses of action open to him. And of these he will adopt a 4th. Okay. Field Marshal, whatever. Hell, I can second guess myself all day, he thought. I need to get cracking. Better decide now and put a good plan to work rather than waste time to decide on the perfect plan. Davis walked over to Sergeant Piper, who was finishing the work of his 2-man foxhole, now 3 feet deep. BP. Not sure what BP is. The rest of the platoon on the search were piling up black basalt rocks in front of their positions to form firing parapets. Our company commander has positioned everyone but us in BP Bravo. I've drawn our company graphics on the map, Davis said. The brigade has the 2nd and 3rd Rifle Battalions defending the valley to our north. Right? In addition, they have a heavy tank task force, acting as a brigade reserve to stop the enemy if he breaks through our infantry. In a couple of days, they expect the 1st Brigade of the 1st Infantry Division to arrive to support us. Davis stooped down and unfolded his map. The big black lines on his map case depicted the platoon's area of responsibility. I've been staring our setup here and I think we need to talk. We may have to move our positions. Reverse slope. Does that mean it goes down, right? So the tank ditch, they're moving to the east. Does that make sense? They're moving to the east. Yeah. They're moving to the east, and then the reverse slope means it will go down. Okay. Yeah. I get it. So now you're going downwards. Right. The decisive point of a battlefield is determined by the character of the position, the bearing of different loyalties upon the strategic object in view, and finally, by the arrangement of the contending forces. Okay. Now, did I already put that in there? Yeah, I did. Excuse me. Now, Piper is complaining again. You got to be kidding, Lieutenant. Thus, decisive action remains the first prerequisite for success. In war, everybody, from the highest commander to the youngest soldiers, must be conscious of the fact that inactivity and lost opportunities weigh heavier than do error in the choice of means. Okay, that's this is clearly showing to me that one is the wrong one, and that is the reverse slope defense is shit. I'm definitely not doing that. If you defend along each trail, if you do that, to defend along each trail, that's not. They keep talking about like the critical point, the decisive point. Yeah. Each trail is not a decisive point. It's not a point at all. You defend each trail separately. It's not a point. Um, yeah. Uh-huh. Although ambushing and uh, picking off the enemy one at a time, defenders will maximize surprise and offensive action. That's nice. But this is also what the commander is suggesting. It is simple. Mass unity of command. Sometimes the simplest plans was the best one. It might be the simplest plan the simplest plan is the best one. All these trails. I think all these trails is too risky, guys. Because what if like they all concentrate on one, they zerg rush one, and it's not enough to take him out. All these guys have to go through here. Why would you assume they would spread evenly? They would. Maybe they won't. I wouldn't do that. No, 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 no. I should deliberate on all the quotes, but I think my gut is saying keep it simple, stupid. Break the attacker's charge. Possible. Great. Yeah. We should never wait to get the best possible plan. Okay, yeah, that's true. We should prove ourselves. Yeah, okay. Mission. Bravo Company defends on sector. Be prepared to counterattack enemy forces. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. There is in every battlefield a decisive point, the possession of which, more than of any other, helps secure victory. Moving along the path is not a point, man. No operation plan extends with any certainty beyond the first encounter and the main body of the enemy. Okay. Um. Yeah. I think it's going to be a forward slope defense. It's simple. It concentrates our forces, which is not maybe. Yeah, it concentrates our forces. Yeah. Um. It is the advice of our superior, which is arrogant, but I don't know. The only thing I'm not sure is can we if we encounter them and they outrange us, then we're fucked. They shoot a tank barrel at our face and we don't have the range. I don't know if it works like that. If it is, yeah. Looking at the map again. Oh, yes. Let me get also the latest of uh oh. Oh, this is the suggestion for 2. This is the suggestion for 3. And this is the suggestion for 1. I think we should just go with 1. Yeah, fuck it. And this is all stupid hiding me. Yeah. We'll go with 1. Uh, all this sneak attack bullshit. No. We'll go with 1. I think we made a first decision. Hopefully a good one. This one is stupid. If you can't see the enemy, it's dumb. I think that's dumb. Oh no, it was this one. It's 5D chess. Uh, maximizing economy of force. Fuck that. Economy of force, that's for our superiors, not for us. Like they have economy of forces already. Fuck them. No. Yeah. Yeah. Keep it simple, stupid. Forward slope defense, section 4. Enough, Sergeant. Piper, shut the fuck up. Uh, Davis exclaimed, walking in front of the old. We can't waste any more time. Piper stood and grabbed his entrenching tool with his right hand. The sergeant stood perfectly still, glaring back at his commanding officer. The sun burned hot, and a slight breeze blew dust into the faces of the soldiers as they struggled to break into the earth with picks and shovels. Davis and Piper stood like boxers in a ring, only a few inches apart and glaring at each other. After all the work we've done here, I think we would be stupid to abandon this position, sir. You ordered that work, fucker, without our permission. Fuck you. Look, Piper, Davis said in hushed tones. We got to learn to work together, or we're going to get the hell shot out of us, for sure. I'm willing to listen. Right? I keep reading Private First Class Groiper. No, Private First Class Cowper. Stop digging towards the argument. The rest of the platoon, sensing this tension, slowly turned their gaze towards the two leaders. This would have happened in every decision, I think. We can't stop that. Davis knelt down and pointed to the map on the ground. Look, Sergeant. I know you were leading this platoon while I was still a cadet at West Point, Davis commanded dryly. But I'm not sure that we. Piper cut him off with a mean scowl and a wave of his hand. Shit, Lieutenant. We're not talking about fighting the old Soviet 8th Guard tank army. These guys aren't 8 feet tall. Hell, they ain't even 4 feet tall. I've fought these ragheads before and they don't like to fight. They won't attack a strong position and they'll never get over this tank ditch. It's too deep for tanks or BMPs to cross. If they come, we'll slaughter them with anti-tank machine gun and rifle fire as they try to cover the ditch. Arrogant. Arrogant. I don't know, Davis said, looking toward the excellent tank country that made up the enemy's approach into Wadi al-Sari. You're right that we don't have time to argue, Lieutenant. We should be digging in our positions and laying mines. The desert was quiet. The soldiers put down their shovels and watched the confrontation between the platoon leader and platoon sergeant. Damn it, Davis raged inwardly. I just arrived in the unit. My company commander is about as friendly as my calculus instructor, and my platoon sergeant is convinced that I couldn't lead a platoon to the latrine. In a few hours, we will be fighting for our lives. I have to make the right decision, but what should I do? David could hear his own breathing. His stomach churned in knots and his heart was beating fast. He turned away from the platoon sergeant and gazed to the west. Maybe we could defend here if we got enough mines and wire to make it impossible for them to break through, he thought. Maybe if we stay here, we're going to need more mines and wire to stop them at the ditch, Davis suggested hesitatingly. Now you're talking, Lieutenant, Piper said with a grin. If we reinforce our positions to protect us from the artillery, we can place more mines and wires on both sides of the anti-tank ditch. We could hold off an army from here. Piper kicked the ground with sand-colored boots, sending a cloud of hard desert dirt into his foxhole. Believe me, you just leave it to me. This place will be as tight as a stone castle when we're through with it. How many miles do you think it will take? Oh, we had unlimited miles this, huh? Well, we need about 1 or 200. We'll have to work all night, Piper replied without emotion. Okay. He took off his helmet and sat down next to his half-dug hole, and took an olive red cloth bandana from his pants cargo pocket. Slowly he opened his canteen, soaked the rag with water, and wiped his face. Refreshed, he suddenly knew that he was right to compromise with his sergeant. I'm not sure about this decision. If you have to compromise with this guy, maybe we should have gone for the ambush. Too late now. Made this decision. We'll do it. We'll dig in here, but only if it's a team effort. We start working together now or no deal. Piper smiled and extended his hands. You got it, Lieutenant. Trust me. Leadership involves compromise. I know what I'm doing. Davis took the sergeant's hand and grinned. The soldier on the hill watched the two men shake hands and went back to their digging. The infantrymen were too preoccupied with their own troubles to care about their green lieutenant. Shit, Piper said, beaming as he took the lieutenant's hand. This will be over in a couple of days and we'll all be headed home. Shut up, you don't know that. Sure, it's all been happening so fast, Davis said with a bleak smile. No, don't say that. I've just arrived. The lives of our men depend on what we decide. I know I still have a lot to learn. No kaboo kaboo kaboo. Shut up. Lieutenant, you're gonna be fine. We got the cock route again. Fuck me. I should have gone with the ambush. Well, I'll get through this okay if you listen to me. Davis stood motionless, believed that the decision had been made. Relieved that the decision had been made. He felt as if a great burden had been lifted from his shoulders. Look, I don't claim to have all the answers. I just know that we can stop the enemy here. The success or failure of our defense will be depend upon the use of our weapons, the ground, and our preparations. We have to consider the range of our weapons, dead space, the mixture of flat trajectory and high angle fires, anti-armor, anti-personnel fires, and barriers and mines. If we do these things correctly, we can accomplish our mission and keep people alive. Right. Davis answered in tone between triumph and embarrassment. I know one thing for sure. We'll do a better job now that we're working as a team. I couldn't agree more, Paper said with wry agreement. It's not a team, we're still cocked. Here's what I recommend. I'll supervise the sighting of the weapons, get everyone making range cards, and inspect the fighting positions. You can make up a plan to lay more minefields to reinforce the tank ditch. I'll have a detail ready to lay mines in 3 hours. Okay? How are we going to do this? He asked. Piper looked to the west, scanning the terrain. I know how these guys fight. If you show them a strong hand, really block the openings to body L3 with obstacles, they'll avoid us and go some other way. If they're stupid enough to attack us along Axis Cobra, we can kill them at the tank ditch. If they come our way, they've got to come across the ditch. Right, we'll have to lay mines at both ends of the ditch, David said, determined. To deny movement to the ground where the ditch ends. We could even put some mines inside the ditch in case they get into it. Yeah, Piper replied. Preparing to capture his plane. We'll set concertia wire and mines where the ditch ends that will tempt the enemy to avoid the wire and entice him to besiege the tank ditch. Let's hope that doesn't happen, David said. Don't worry, it shouldn't. You said yourself that the old man doesn't think they'll come this way. My guess is that they'll send a small probing attack, probably no more than a platoon. When they come, we'll be waiting for them. They'll never get past the freaking ditch. I wish we had some 50 caliber machine guns, Davis added. Hell, Lieutenant, I gave away an R&R in Bahrain with 2 belly dancers for the taste of 50. Davis and Piper burst out laughing, happy that they were finally working together. The FO and I will complete a target list to support the defense. I'll prepare the platoon operations order, Davis announced after a moment. I'll have Musiguchi get a detail together to carry our barrier material and mines into position. It looks like we'll be better off working through the night and sleeping in the day. Yes, Davis answered, somewhat overwhelmed by the magnitude of the task ahead of him. I guess we should. Davis reached for the canteen on his left hip, found it empty, and unbuttoned the flap on the cover on his right canteen. Barely a quarter of the contents were left. He unscrewed the plastic top and drank the last drop of warm, precious liquid. He made a mental note to check into the water situation when we got back to the platoon. He whose ranks are united in purpose will be victorious. We are united in purpose. So that's good, I guess. Yeah. We are united in purpose. We'll see how contact with the enemy goes. Yeah. Section 7. I want to see what happens. Yeah, we're not dead, that's for sure. There's a lot of maps coming along. And I believe let's stop it here. We'll get into it next time with full force. And yeah, we'll We'll see what happens. All right. Hope you guys are having fun like I do. Start is a bit of a slog, but those are necessary preparations, right? And God bless the USA. That's right.